Everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is NGumah, founder of PATTERNOLOGY LAB. In today's video, I'll be doing a recap of some of the trades that I took this week and also some of the trades that I missed out on, unfortunately. I can't really catch all of them, that's okay. But the important thing is to see what happened and to learn from it and to be better prepared for the next time they appear. So stay tuned. Before we begin, if you're new to this channel, definitely hit that subscribe button below and also hit that notification bell. That way you get notified whenever we release new videos. It really helps the channel grow and it allows more people to get this knowledge as well. Alright everyone, the first pattern that I would like to discuss is actually on VTIQ. I made a previous video about how I shorted VTIQ from I believe 33 all the way down to 21. But there was another opportunity to go long and I definitely did not want to miss it. So let's dive into think or swim and see exactly how I approach that trade. Alright y'all, now this is VTIQ on a daily chart. Let's move on to the 5-minute chart because that's where the pattern was on. And if we scroll back here, that pattern was on Monday on 6/1. And if you zoom in, right, I'm gonna leave this here and I'm gonna go on to the Robinhood account, okay, and then type here VTIQ to see when I got in. But I want you to notice here, it says we're unable to find any results for your search, which means that if you're holding any VTIQ stock or options, I have no clue what happened to your positions. So yeah, you definitely wanna contact Robinhood to see what's going on with that if you're holding any positions in VTIQ. But luckily for y'all, I was able to go into my phone and get screenshots of it to see exactly when I got in and when I got out. So let's take a look at those. All right, so as you can see right here, this is the screenshot of the call option that I bought, which expired on Friday. And I bought that one call for $124, just one of them. And I bought it at 1:43 p.m. for this reason right here. Let me go back onto Think or Swim. 1:43 p.m. is actually right here, right in this candle. And the reason why I got into that is because of this. Let me grab the right drawing tool. And this pattern is super prevalent and it is one of my favorites. And it works, it usually works, most of the time it works, at least, most of the time. And this is called a bullish pennant. All right, so as soon as it broke out, I got in here with my call and my intention was to hold overnight and sell in between $36 and $40, depending on how it behaves up there. If it opened up in strength, then good, I would just sit back and wait. But when I saw a massive flush down, then I was immediately quick to sell. Let's look at the exit again. If we go back to the positions and we click on VTIQ exit, you can see that I got out of that contract the next day, exactly 2 minutes after the market opened, for $200, which is exactly, I think, a 60% profit on my money, which is not bad. And if we go on here on the Think or Swim and we go on the 1-minute chart, as you can see, it dumped right out the gates and I did not like it at all. This is very weak. It goes up really strong. It shows a very strong bar right there. And then right at the gates, you just fade. So I decided to get out at the end of this candle or at the beginning of this candle, which I'm not really sure when, but somewhere in here, that's when I get out. Okay. The next pattern that I would like to discuss is on APY. Now here is APY right here. And this one also got, there was something going on with the company and they changed the name of their symbol right here to another set of letters, which we will go over very soon. But I started off with this right here, this setup. And the pattern that I saw is actually really hard to see. So you gotta go on the 1-hour chart, right? And then you can zoom in right here. And the pattern that I saw is actually right here. Right there. Okay? Right here. This right there is a bullish triangle, which is very, very similar to the one on mRNA, how that entire bubble started up. I made another video on that, so definitely check it out. You will see the exact same pattern on that one too, and the outcome was exactly the same. So I decided to get into this one, APY. If we go on to the Robinhood account and we search it, you will also find that it is not there. You can't find it at all. That's why I went over to my phone and I got screenshots of it. And if you look at this one, the first option that I bought was, I just bought one contract, okay, on that day, which was Tuesday. I bought it at 9.21 for 70 bucks. And if you go on here and we change the time frame to the 5-minute time frame, 9.21 was actually right here. I was a little late to it because I realized the pattern was a pattern slightly late after the stock already went up by a little bit. And since I know that the stock is supposed to move on to new heights, then I was very comfortable going in late and just waiting until the stock reached my actual price target. The price target that I had in mind for APY was anything between $11 and $12. And here's the reason why. If we go on to the 4-hour chart and we zoom out, actually no, let's go on to the 1-hour chart to make it much more clear with a lot more candles. And it's because of this right here. All of these candles are filled with people with emotions, okay? Just keep that in mind. They're candles, yes, but in reality, they're just people's emotions, okay? So you have to know exactly where people with specific emotions are located on the chart. And then you have to keep in mind how they would react if the price was to ever get there. That's when you make your decision. So the price that I wanted to sell at, again, was between $11 and $12. And it is right here in this zone, right there. Just anywhere up here where we see these candles, right? I believe this is a bearish hammer followed by another bearish hammer that just have different colors. And in here, there's a mixture of short sellers and also FOMO buyers, right? The people who got greedy here, who bought the stock to go long and then got trapped on the way down and kept holding. I was expecting them to cause some type of resistance when the price was to get there within a day or two. Now, if we go back to the folder filled with screenshots, I bought more contracts on APY. And I bought those contracts this one turned out to be the week before. I started out with 2 contracts for $125 and then I added, okay. I actually started the week before because I was anticipating the breakout. So if we go back on Thinkorswim, and if you go on here, the 29th was actually here. So I actually got in at the perfect time. Now, if we go back to Robinhood, and APY actually got switched to this thing right here, Champion X, and the code for that is CHX. And if we scroll down, we can see exactly when I sold these 3 contracts, these 3 $10 calls, which expired on 6/19. So I sold them, all of them, for exactly $190 each. So I was able to turn roughly $190 into $570 in about 1 week. And if you look at the details of that, we can see that I sold that contract at 9.41. And if we go on Thinkorswim and we actually type that symbol, CHX, and we see the continuation of that move from APY, we can see that it actually went over to our price target. And I sold right, let me see, when did I sold right here. Right here is when I sold, right in between $11 and $12. Obviously it went up high, right? But again, it reached my price target and I was happy with the price. And I thought it was reasonable enough for me to sell. So I decided to sell for about a 200% gain on my money, which is not bad. The next pattern that I would like to discuss with y'all is actually on Baidu, Chinese company. Now let's take a look at that real quick. Let's type in here BIDU. And then let's change the time frame. This is what happened this week right here. This is what happened. So let's change the time frame to the 1 hour time frame. Actually, no, the 30-minute time frame, because that's where I saw that pattern at. And I decided to get into the stock right on the 3rd. I will show you all that entry on Robinhood really quick. But here is the pattern that I saw. This one is an ascending triangle. For those of y'all who've been subscribing to the channel, you should know what this is, okay? These patterns happen over and over and over again. And the job is to just catch them and then make money off of them. It's very simple. So here is the pattern right here, an ascending triangle. And then I connected the top along with the floor right here. And I was waiting patiently for this thing to just spike, which it did. And as soon as it did, I decided to jump in here with in the money calls. And if we go on the Robinhood account and we go on Baidu, this right here is Baidu. It's about to pop up real quick. There you go. And then if we scroll down to the history after it's done loading, right here, okay, we can see that I bought in the money calls. Actually, it was slightly out of the money, just by $1. So I bought that call for $169, and I bought it 11 minutes after the market opened. And if we go on to the 5-minute chart and we zoom in right here, so I bought it right at the end of this candle, or the beginning of this candle, right at 109.50, okay? And I just held until it reached a nice price target, which I thought was reasonable enough to sell. And if you go back onto the Robinhood account, I didn't catch the exact top on this, but then again, this is actually a solid trade. I sold that one the next day for $255, and I sold it at exactly 8:36, 6 minutes before the market opened, which is right in here, right there, right before this drop. But there was no way for me to know that it was gonna continue going up, because there was really nothing that could make it obvious for me to tell that it was actually gonna rise higher. So I just sold that contract and just moved on to the other opportunity that was there. Now the 4th pattern that I traded this week is actually on GPMT, okay? And that one was actually really clean. Let's take a look at it. And again, these patterns happen on a similar time frame between the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame. So let me type GPMT, all right, and then let me go onto the 1 hour chart. Actually, no, let me go to the 4 hour chart. Yeah, there it is. Here is the pattern right here. I'm sure y'all can see this, right? Let me just zoom in some more. And then let me make this a little bit bigger and let me drag it to the middle of the screen. Then let me get the right drawing tool and let me connect the tops with the bottoms. Again, this one is a bullish pennant. And as soon as it broke out, I was just so excited about this. And I got in with calls right in here, right there. I think maybe at the close. Let me go onto the Robinhood account and see exactly when I got in. GPMT. Oh, great. Let me see. GPMT. There you go. All right, now let me go down to the history. And that is when I started buying calls. So I bought one call right here on the 3rd at exactly noon for $100, which was in the middle of the day at 5.80. And then I bought another contract for $156. And that one was at exactly 2:51. And if we go onto the 5-minute chart and we go over here, I bought it because of another pattern in here, all right? Because of this. Let me grab the right draw tool. Because of this right here, another bullish pennant. So this is a pattern right outside of another pattern right here. Okay, so I decided to go in here with another call for $156. And what I did was to just hold until the actual price target, which was based on a similar reason to APY. Again, with the psychology thing, you gotta know where people who are fearful or the FOMO buyers who got crushed are located. That is a good indication of where you should be feeling some type of resistance. So if we go back to the Robinhood account again, we can see that I sold these two contracts today. yes, today on Friday, after I reached my price target of around $7.50. So I sold them for at $9.57 for a grand total of $480, which is about 100% on my money. I think this is about 110, yeah, somewhere around there. And if we go on to the Thinkorswim, you can see that I sold these two contracts right here in the middle of these two candles. Again, this is hard to predict. Everything out here is very hard to predict. So as soon as it showed weakness, I was out of there. And I just took my money and I just looked for another opportunity in the stock market. The fifth pattern that I would like to discuss is actually on Roku. And that one is a pattern within a pattern. Again, just like this one, just like GPMT right here. So let's take a look at Roku. All right, this is Roku, and let me change the time frame to let me keep it on 5 minutes. And let me go back here, right? And I got into this stock. Unfortunately, Robinhood did not show me my entry, which was kind of irritating. But I got into the stock right here for the same exact reason, right? As GPMT and APY and VTIQ. The same pattern on all three stocks, okay? So I got in here because of this bullish pennant, which was very, very, very clean, but on a smaller time frame, all right? And I got in right at the breakout, right there, at exactly 12:15, and I just held it. I think that contract was $390, and I just held this one throughout multiple days. And the reason why I was so comfortable holding it is because I realized that that bullish pennant is actually part of a bigger pattern. Now let me change it to a 1 hour chart and see what that bigger pattern was and which led to me choosing the appropriate price target to sell these contracts. All right, now if we go on here and we change it to 1 hour and we go over here and we zoom in right there. Actually, no, 30 minutes will be a lot better. Yes, 30 minutes. We're gonna zoom in right here, okay? And then I'm gonna make this a little bit taller just so that you can see what I'm talking about. Now the pattern, the bigger pattern, I mean, is actually right here. There is the left shoulder, okay? There is the head, and then there is the right shoulder right here. So this little pattern that I caught and then I bought a contract on for $390 was part of a bigger pattern right here. And when I saw this thing forming, I decided to buy another contract right in here, right there at noon on the 1st, which was Monday. And if you go on Thinkorswim, that purchase should actually be available to see. Let me look at Roku. And then let me scroll down here to the history. Yeah, there it is, okay? As I told y'all, if I click on show more, you're not gonna see my previous purchase. Like, it just says sell here, but it doesn't say buy. So I bought that one for $390 and I sold it for $430, right? But the addition that I made to the previous one was right here. I bought this call, which expired on Friday, and that was my mistake. Even though that trade actually ended up winning, that contract ended up losing. And because the reason why it was losing is because it was a little too far out of the money, and it's because the expiration was right there, and I think I was a little late on getting out of that contract. That's why I took a small loss on that specific contract. So in regards to this entire trade, I broke even. If you look into the details of that sell, I sold it at exact 5 minutes after the market opened. All right, and I sold the second one 1 minute after selling. 1 minute after selling this contract. And if we go on Thinkorswim and we change that to the 5 minute chart, I sold right here. Yeah, right in the middle of these two candles. Okay, right there at exactly 113. And right after I sold that contract, this entire downward spiral happened. And the reason why it happened is because of these people right there. these people just kept rejecting the stock. The ones that are in this zone right here, okay? Right when we get in the zone, all of them, the selling pressure just kept accumulating and it kept driving the stock downward. Where is it gonna go next week? Honestly, I have no idea. Again, I trade these things pattern by pattern, one at a time, okay? I don't try to guess where the market is gonna go. I let the market tell me where it wants to go, and then I go there. Now, the next two patterns are two very, very, very clean patterns, all right? I missed both of them, unfortunately. And the reason why is because I was paying attention to BA and I completely overlooked that the other patterns were even happening. And that's completely okay. The potential that I saw in BA was a lot greater to the point where I only wanted to just focus on that. And it caused me to miss out on this one. That pattern, okay, is actually on Gilead. And if we look at Gilead and we take a look at the 5-minute chart, we can see here that there is an ascending triangle again right here, just like Baidu. Very, very, very similar structure like Baidu. It's very clean, very clean. All right, let me connect the bottoms, and the appropriate entry for this one is anywhere in here, and the appropriate sell is anywhere up here. Okay, just anywhere up here. This was, I believe, a 200 to 300% on the contracts that I saw after this entire move, which was a bit irritated because I missed it, but that's okay though. Again, you can't catch all of them, but you can do your very best to catch some of them if you can. And last but not least, the last pattern that I missed, and that one was on Disney, okay? And that one was actually a bearish pattern. It was a shorting opportunity for all of you pattern hunters out there. Here it is. Here's Disney. Let me go on here and type Disney. And let me just zoom out. And the pattern that happened actually occurred on Friday, which is today. Actually, no, which was yesterday. It's 1 a.m. right now. So yeah, the pattern right here is right there. Let me get the drawing tool and let me connect the bottoms with the tops. Usually when I trade this specific pattern, it's supposed to be bullish. I was actually long biased on the stock, and then when it took a downward spiral like that, I knew that it wasn't gonna be good. The appropriate entry for this pattern was in here, okay? Right there. And then the appropriate exit was literally anywhere down here. And this was a $2 move. And if you look at the options, and let's take a look at the options that expired next week Friday, and we look at the puts. If you bought any of these contracts, for example, this one, the 126 put option, which is at the money at the time that it started breaking down. If you bought that one, the delta on here is $51, okay? And the delta, as I mentioned in one of my videos, I explained how options work in a very, very transparent manner. The delta is when is how much you get rewarded when the price of the stock is moving in your favor, okay? So put options is to go down, all right? And as the stock was going down from 126 to 125, the price or the value of these contracts, which is right now is at 252, the value of these contracts would increase by $51, okay? And then as the price goes down from 125 to 124, $57 will be added to that. So the profit right here between here and here, right, this $2 move was exactly $106. So those are the other trades that I talk about from Boeing this week. If you have any questions, definitely put them in the comment section below. I will get back to you as soon as I can, or I will make another video about it and explain it to you and for everybody else who's watching. If you're new to this channel, definitely hit that subscribe button. And also don't forget to follow us on Instagram. I do post the patterns that I spot daily, and I do post my entries and my exits on there as well. My name is Paul with Patternology Lab, where we trade patterns and patterns only. And I will see y'all on the next one. Take care.